Welcome everyone to the Power Half Hour. Oh, it is being recorded. Guys, thank you for being here today. Today we have a rockstar agent out of Las Vegas, Nevada. This man has been, grinding in the industry for the last 20 years, and he still looks like he's 25 years old. Mr. Ken Ravago, my man, thank you for being here today, sharing with us your success.
Brother John, thank you so much. A few months ago, you asked me to speak or to share my story on this, and admittedly to the audience, I've been putting it off, and I thought, yes, last week I said, man, I'm going after Eddie Oberoi. That's like the Indian Michael Jordan of Silicon Valley, right? But you said something to me. You said something to me that it's, bro, it's not always about transactions. There's always people who are doing more than us, but everyone on this Zoom, everyone live streaming has a story, and that's what you asked me to do today, right? Is just share my personal journey and story.
Absolutely. And while we're on that, I met Ken, I think in 2013. We were in the mid row, not the back row, but the mid row of the Mike Ferry retreat, and we were grinding away, and we were just on our way up. But back then, man, you were struggling with something, right?
Yeah.
And I want you to share, you a little bit about your journey, how you started, and when we met, and how you got out of that situation based on what you did and our support and everything.
Absolutely. So yes, we were in that middle row, and we were in the accountability group, and I'm going to take it back before I decided to join coaching. So yeah, Cliff Notes version is I was born in Oakland, California, humble beginnings. A major turning point in my life at a young age is I lost my dad. He only made it to 38 years old.
Wow.
I'm 44, and every day I count after 30 a blessing that I'm here, I'm healthy, happy, full of energy. He didn't have that opportunity. So my mom didn't make a lot of money. She worked at a bank job, but through aunts, uncles, extended family, they took me on. They were the father figures in my life, and that just resonates, and it holds true to my heart that my uncle took me fishing. He gave me my uncles gave me the love for the outdoors, which I carry today. So wow. Fast forward that, 20 years ago, I moved to Las Vegas. We took an RV, a motorhome, like what DK's on right now, right? So we took a motorhome, we drove it. My then girlfriend drove it to Las Vegas. We were going to go on a 3-month road trip, and we ended up here thinking, wow, what a cool place to live. Real estate's cheap. Let's buy a house. Shortly thereafter, I got my real estate license, and like many of us who were during that time grinding it out, selling homes, it came easy. We had great years from 2000, 2005, and 6, and we all know what happened, right? The market just took that turn.
Yeah.
Lost everything. Got massive debt to the tune of, and I'm not embarrassed to say, $400,000 or $500,000 in debt. When I was sitting next to you in that room at Superstar Retreat, or when we were in that same accountability group, that was a burden on my shoulders. Is Ooh. A failed marriage, admittedly, and a massive amount of debt, John.
Man, so that based on the crash of the market and the life circumstances, specifically your marriage, it brought you to the tune of $400,000 or $500,000 worth of IRS debt or credit or whatever, consumer, whatever it is. And then
easy, yeah.
And so, going through that, how did you climb out of that right here first?
Oh, well, right here. Well, a lot of it was there's certain things happen in your life, certain signs or certain people are led into your life, like you. The first thing that I learned during that time is I was procrastinating. I was sweeping the bills under the rug, if you will. I was just not taking action. I was just out of it. I would do anything to avoid the pain or avoid the knock at the door that I literally was getting from creditors about satisfying this debt.
Wow.
one of the first, what happened to me was there's a guy named Juan Martinez here in town, Las Vegas, a local legend. He was in my brokerage. He now owns a successful Century 21. He's like, Ken, you got to show up at the Marriott Marquis and you got to hear my mentor, Mike Ferry, to speak, right? It was his precursor to the Superstar Retreat.
Mm-hmm.
I sat there, it was free, free of charge. I sat there and I just sat and listened. He kept it so simple. Call your past clients, ask questions, tell the truth. What it was, I don't remember all the dynamics, but I just followed it, right?
Right.
And that let us sit next to each other at the retreat.
Wow.
That was the first thing that the mindset shift in me, that it is possible to generate a good amount of income, to get myself out of this hole, because I wanted to make it right with the people that I let down, which were my creditors, right?
Wow, that's huge. And so it was step by step, and then you had the opportunity to go to Mike Ferry for free, based on Juan's a recommendation, and that's where we met. And I want to talk a little bit about how important is it to have a support system, whether it be a mastermind group, whether it be an accountability group, or whether it be hiring a coach or somebody in your life. I mean, I've seen the journey, but tell us a little bit about how important that was to you in getting to where you are today.
What a great question, John. It gives me goosebumps, because a man I'm virtually standing in front of is a key component to getting out of that hole and crushing that hole and thriving and being a better citizen in integrity with my debts, right? It's everything. In preparing for this talk, I wrote down a little something about everybody in the mastermind group. And if I forget who you are, if I forget to name you, then I apologize. It's just interest of time. John, there were times when I was afraid, when I was coming out of that, and I said, I want to donate whatever the amount was to my church. I think it was $1,000 a month at that time. I was so scared to donate the money, because that was a large part of my monthly nut, right? You kids said, bro, just do it. Just do it. Just blind faith, do it. I was like, okay, I did it.
Wow.
And there were times when you yourself, we had somebody in the office who had cancer, and you didn't know her from Adam. You donated $500 to her. I didn't tell you the story, but unbeknownst to me, she didn't have cancer. She ran with our money. And what I mean to say that.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I know. I hope you'll donate money to me again, but that hurt like big time, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told you that story, but that's, you give unconditionally. You give unconditionally. That's what you have instilled in me, despite the darkest of times, despite me eating freezer burned leftovers in the refrigerator while I was, starting with Mike Ferry. You gotta remain in contribution.
That's huge. I've seen it every single year. You were the first responder during that Las Vegas shooting incident, and every year you're out there providing kids with meals, with clothes. The thought that I have is that, man, as real estate agents, we're really short on time. We're pretty stingy with time, and you not only contribute with your money, but tell us a little bit about how you contribute with your time.
With my time. And before I answer that, Eddie donating $100,000, when he talked about that last week, that's super inspiring to me. And I put that on my goal board. But yes, a lot of times when we're producing, we can do the money, but we don't have the time. So what I decided to do is I'm going to build my business, or build my life, how I want it, and have a business that supports that, right? So what I mean by that is yes, I do corkboard the events I have going on. One of the events, like you mentioned, one of the charities near dear to my heart, you mentioned 1 October when we had that deadly shooting. A friend and a colleague, Nicole Levine, and I had the opportunity, as soon as that happened, for those of you who don't remember, that the shooter at Mandalay Bay savagely murdered, I don't know, it was 50 people, a lot of people, concert goers, and the city was just at a standstill.
Yeah.
There were people in the
that.
hospital, triage, families waiting on their loved ones. And a friend of mine, Nicola Levine, and I took it upon ourselves to go to the charity that I support on a weekly basis that feed children. They feed children, 4,600 children who are at risk, who are in need of weekend meals. And we redirected that food to first responders, family meeting at the hospitals, just police officer, anybody who needed the goods and the food. So,
man, bro, you got such a good heart, and that's why you have become probably one of the best citizens in Las Vegas and the biggest contributor in our cleaners mastermind. And I want to relate it back to business.
okay.
Every time you contribute, every time you volunteer, no joke, guys, a week or two later, something big happens in your business. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. And when a few years ago, I did coach with a guy named Richard Robbins, and this always stuck with me. I don't know if you've heard of Richard Robbins. He's out of Canada,
Yes.
but he said, giving starts the receiving process, right? Giving starts the receiving process. And I don't do things because I know I'm going to receive. I do it because it feels good. It brings joy. And there are times when I take this jacket off, and in the middle of the day, I have to do a costume change and get into a t-shirt and shorts and deliver food to the elementary school. Is it convenient? Sometimes no. Is it, am I sweating my butt off? Yeah. But some way, somehow, a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, a windfall of business comes. Something that was out of the blue. A voicemail message where you left a guy a voicemail 7 times over, 2 years that you taught me. Just leave a voicemail message, no matter what. Leave a voicemail. If they don't respond to you, they'll just keep staying in action. Those are the types of manifestations that come to my life when I do these acts of kindness. I mean, it's almost like clockwork.
It's almost weird, but it happens every time. And every time, guys, we are surprised by it. Like I could do something really, really nice for no apparent reason, no ulterior motive, and then something good happens in the business. You donate some money out of the kindness of your own heart, and then a couple of weeks later, a big windfall of deals just come into my lap, and I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you God. But it's something that we did, and it's a little bit about karma. I don't want to go woo-woo on that. But hey, we have a question actually. This might inspire your countryman. I think he's Filipino. JP Villanueva. He says, can you share your strategy for generating leads? Before you start, we just got out of
that's a great one. That's a great
JP. We just got out of a prospecting hangout. We do this every single day. We've probably been doing this for 8+ years together on prospecting Zoom hangouts. That's from first and foremost. If you want to join us, you can. Every single day we're on it. So what are your strategies, Ken?
Well, all of these strategies, I must be one of the most unoriginal people ever, right? Because there's like no magic pill like Eddie shared last week. One of the things I've been working on is in addition to staying present in our hangout group, right? Monday through Friday, am I the most consistent? No. Do I need to have better habits like Eddie was talking about? Yes. But one of the things that has been working for me is these foundation boards and these groups, networking. Let me give you an example. I'm in this camping, it's a camping motorhome RV club, okay?
Ooh.
And I literally get rewarded for staying in action and going on these trips and getting involved, helping with this nonprofit organization. And that 100 family network has yielded me, $100,000 or more. Wow. in generated income by just being present and staying active. It's like it's a built-in COI. It's a fun COI.
Yes.
I have 2 or 3 of those types of situations with the community groups I'm involved in, that you get to build your network that way. And JP, that's what works for me. Is it generating leads? I think it's more like cultivating relationships and just being of service, right?
Being of services first. And Ken, even, I hear you all the time on prospecting hangout. You're not really prospecting per se. You're always coming from contribution. How can I help this person that I'm talking to today, either buy or sell a home? Even if it's a wrong number, how can I service you? I'm in real estate just by chance, do you have anybody that we can help? It's always coming from contribution. So if we were to contribute, because, realtors just want to make money. I get that. But, with the time that we have and the good money that we make, we should contribute back to the community. How do you find the right one for yourself to contribute to and to put your time in?
What a great question. So how do I determine where I'm going to spend that precious time that I have left when I'm not doing what we do Monday to Friday, right?
Right.
Wow, what a great question. I guess it's whatever checks the boxes off for you. I'm an outdoors person. If when you come in November, I'd never ask you to go out there in your hiking boots and shoot rabbits or run around in my ATV or camp. Where there's a run. I would never ask you to do that. But for me, I'm an outdoors person, right? So I was approached with an opportunity to work on the state level as a state commissioner for anything that's off highway. Hikers, motorbikers, mountain bikers, ATVers. I'm passionate about that. So I get to be part of a group or a committee that decides where the millions of dollars that are generated through registration fees, where that goes to improve our public land. So to me, that's exciting. That's a legacy for me. So I look for things that will leave a lasting mark, either in the community, on public lands, or even children, because that's the other one is the Serving Our Kids Foundation is a local homegrown charity. That's near and dear to me because when my dad was stricken with cancer, we stood in that line to get the government cheese and
wow.
And I remember the block cheese that you used to get, and I've been there. So I don't know if anybody here can relate, but that's how I choose.
Yeah, humble beginnings. Thank you for sharing that so vulnerably, and we can all get a lot from this. So guys, if you want to contribute, really check the boxes on what you're passionate about, what you're inspired about, which organization you might want to leave your legacy in. Because again, we make money and it gets old, right? And along the way, you got to be a contributor to society, or else why are we doing this?
Right. I mean, I see Casey Haranzi. I think she's in and out. She spoke this morning with Jess Ross. She's another go-giver. We talked about the lady probably has a couple thousand pairs of shoes, right? And I think she talked about an initiative to provide. I see you laughing there. An initiative to provide shoes for school children who don't have the right shoes. I mean, I've been in these schools, John, and I got to tell you, I've seen kids with shoes on backwards. They leave for school with their shoes on backwards, or their shoes mismatched. Or I mean, that's just one thing. It could be food, it could be shoes, it could be books, a backpack. I mean, just get involved. I guess that's my that's my take on it.
I'm really inspired every time I hear you talk about contributing and giving back, man, and it makes me want to do something. So thank you for that.
Come on, give yourself some credit, John. I mean, you were doing the run, that charity run you did, or that charity event. I mean, you're always staying engaged. I mean, on your gratitudes, I always see, again, success leaves clues. I always see you and Eddie, DK, when DK donates the iPads to the nursing home. I mean, we're a mastermind group with all different levels of production. And that's what Dave Janis said the best. He goes, it's what makes the mastermind group is interesting, is that we're all at different levels of production, but we're like I sort of thought of this, we're like a master class for masterminds. If there's a subject or a topic that you're stuck with, whether it's contribution or investing, you go to somebody in our mastermind group and it's there. They're just a bunch of good-hearted people.
Definitely. Now, Ken, after 20 years, mastermind groups, making a lot of money. You built you built a house and you built a great pool in the back. Guys, check it out. Check him out on Facebook. That's a phenomenal pool. You got everything that you want, Ken. You got your RV. Yeah, you got your ATV. You got a beautiful wife. What's driving you today to stay on the phone 20 years later, still prospecting on the phone? What's driving you today?
I think I learned from I don't know whether it came out of our conversations, or some people are they driven by fear or pain or pleasure? You know, I literally have to, like maybe a lot of it, I pinch myself sometimes because of where I was with the debt, and where I am now with all these blessings in my life. A beautiful fiance who supports me wholeheartedly, who's been there. You know, when I told her when we first met, hey, I drive a Prius. No offense to Prius owners, that's all mismatched, and I have $500,000 in debt, and my credit score's low, and you know, maybe part of it that drives me is I never want to get back there again. You know, I will never, I will cherish the experience or what I learned through the process, but I never want to get back to the pain of having to eat freezer burned leftovers, being behind on my mortgage, or losing houses, whatever things I did that were not in integrity with honoring my debts, right? So that's a big part of it, and obviously the service component, because if I do my job, if I stay in action with you guys, I'm able to leverage that and add rental property or increase the doors in my property management business where it's highly delegatable, and it sort of runs itself with the help of a great team. Cynthia, Kim, my brother, and my office manager. I can create that life where I just stay in action on the service component. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. So you want to be of service, and you know, from humble beginnings, when you've been really, really, really hungry, and from the beginnings where Ken's come from, you're never really full, so to speak. So you're always in that mode of, okay, well, if I can be of service, I can get people out of that situation, and I never want to be in that situation myself again. That's what keeps you going today.
That's such a great point. And maybe I didn't, if I captured the whole component of what you're speaking about is, yeah, like you said, sometimes realtors want to make money, but a lot of the guys I'm looking at right in this room are guys who are not about that. They're about the service and helping a widower out who needs to sell to get to Reno because she lost her husband, and you being that calming force in the transaction. You know, in Vegas, you could work with investors, but you know, that's great. It's rewarding, but there's families that rely on you to be the agent, the plumber, the concierge, the travel agent, or the who do you know in this segment. You know, I think that's what keeps me going. The more people we can help talk to, the more leads we generate, the more families we help. It just works out for all the better, right?
Man, you're such a great leader, and you're leading myself, you're leading our mastermind group. You're such a servant as well. And, you know, I could see like nothing but good things come to you because of who you are. And it's truly, truly inspiring. So where you're at today, 20 years in the business, got everything that you want material wise, or obviously there could be more. What does 5 to 10 years down the road look like for you, your property management and your sales business?
That you know, that's the question. You know, I did cheat a little bit. I said, hey, what are you going to ask me today? You know, because I wonder, right? This is what I struggled with the most. But again, the generating the passive income to allow me. I'm a hillbilly, or I'm at heart, so to speak. I like the outdoors, so. My goal is to be able to full-time RV all around the country, maybe be able to visit you up in Vancouver. DK's out in Ottawa RVing right now, and he's visiting such beautiful places. So the first thing I need to build my life around freedom of choice, to be able to have these travel experiences. So that's where I want to be. If I want to hit the road and full-time for 3-4 months in 5 years, if I want to travel to Greece with DK and you guys, I want to have the ability to do that. So what I need to do is, again, one, increase the number of doors we have in property management, help more investor families, and you know, use leverage. Like I hear you coaching agents, you know, on Zoom calls about building teams and such. You know, that's one thing I need to learn from you. You know, is how do I leverage more?
Yes. Well, you're already a great leader. You know, we could talk about the structures that we could put in place to have that happen. So really, I posted a few days ago, the end goal is freedom. Sounds like
Freedom.
that's yours as well.
It's got to be. I mean, after a while, I think Eddie mentioned, after all your basic needs are met, right? You eat good, sleep well in a nice bed, whether it's a Hastings bed or a nice fancy bed. You have a nice car, you have a nice home. We are so blessed. We are so dang blessed. Yesterday we were prospecting together, and Corey, a guy in our group, said, "Man, you're even wrong numbers. You're so enthusiastic. You're so happy today. What's driving you?" Eddie said last week, "You're already successful." We aren't digging ditches in 115-degree Las Vegas heat. You start the day in gratitude. You work out. You show up. You call people, and you take your ass home. You're done. I mean, what a blessing for all of us, right?
It really is a lottery ticket. I say this all the time. All we do every day is blah, 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 blah. And we get to make a lot of money, guys. So, knowing that we are so blessed, it's all about contribution. At the end of the day, if we make enough money for ourselves, it's time to give back. And that's what Ken has shown us. Right?
Absolutely. And for those of us who aren't in sales, who are watching this, yeah, it's not obviously real estate's not easy, or else everybody would be doing it, right? But it is. It's just, if you follow the plan, whether it's using Mike Ferry organization, the being component with Daryl Rutherford PDC, who you're being versus what you're doing. I used to get confused about how do you fuse Mike Ferry and how do you fuse Daryl Rutherford together, right? It just diametrically opposed. But if we take the questions Mike teaches us how to ask, and we have the inspired action that Daryl imparted on us before his death, and his legacy lives on. I mean, it's a powerful combination during the few hours that we are lead generating or whatever we're doing on appointments, etc. So
exactly. So whatever platform you choose, man, choose it, and go out there and contribute. Ken, any last couple pieces of advice or insights for the audience to have us finish strong for 2021?
How to finish strong, and I think that's our mastermind call at 1 o'clock today, right?
That's right.
I think for me, it is just, again, back to the basics. You stay in gratitude. You stay in action. You show up, which is the hardest part, like going to the gym or going to the hangouts. Because once you get into the hangouts, you hear something like you dropping dialogue this morning. Killer, whether they're rejection handlers or whether they're just great questions. Just stay in action and serve your community. Find something that's something you're passionate about, whatever it is. If it's money, give money. If it's time, give time, and maybe get a little uncomfortable on what you give. You'll be surprised what happens. You'll be surprised.
Guys, go out there and serve. That's what I'm getting from this. I mean, it's all about service. And again, we've hit the lottery with this business. So be grateful for that. What if it was, taken away from us? It could be taken away from us in a heartbeat. All of a sudden, we can't call people anymore. Like, then now what? Right? So today, I get to make calls to my friends. Today, I get to make calls to the neighborhood. Today, I get to prospect. Right? This is our opportunity, guys. And, be of contribution. Ken has shown us that if you give back, it'll always come back tenfold. So Ken, you have been a huge inspiration to my life. And thank you for always sending us gifts, our girls. We still love her first pair of Adidas. Thank you. And you've provided so much value to the audience today. And man, I can't wait to see you again in Vegas. Thank you for today.
November, we're doing, John, thank you, man. Thank you. Again, I try not to get emotional for you're a few years younger than me, but I still consider you my big brother in real estate. You helped me more than you'll ever know. And you've helped a ton of people, through the community you've built. So thank you for allowing me to be on this Power Half Hour. I never thought I'd get on here. I thought I'd always be an avid spectator, but it just feels good that you thought enough of me to show up today. So
bro, it's an honor. It's an honor today. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Man. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.